All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle a really powerful idea, something you might not think about every day. The idea that our own personal health is completely, totally tied to the health of our planet. They're not two different things, they're one and the same.
So to really get our heads around this, let's start at the very beginning. It all comes down to a core idea, and believe it or not, it's all packed into the meaning of just one word.
Yep, that word is ecology. It comes from the Greek word oikos, which means house. That's it. So when we're talking about ecology, we are literally talking about studying our own home, our house, everything around us and how we relate to it.
But here's the thing, this house of ours isn't just, trees and rivers.
The human ecosystem is the whole shebang. It includes the natural world, for sure, but also our cities, our tech, our cultures, everything we build. And our health? Well, it's basically a mirror reflecting the balance or imbalance within that entire system.
Okay, so this is a really key distinction to make. We hear the word epidemiology a lot, right? That's all about studying disease in us, in human populations. But ecology zooms way out. It looks at the entire web of life, us included, and how all those connections affect our well-being. Think of it like this. Epidemiology is like a doctor checking on one person in the house. Ecology is checking on the health of the entire house itself.
So the big question is, what happens when that delicate balance, the very foundation of our house, starts to break down? Well, as you can imagine, the consequences can be pretty serious.
And here's the tough part to swallow. A lot of the time, we're the ones causing the cracks. Our own actions are the problem. We've changed our environment so fast and on such a huge scale that we've basically opened up a Pandora's box of new, complex health challenges.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We're talking about real-world stuff. Think about it. Rapid, unplanned cities popping up, creating slums in places like Sudan, which then become breeding grounds for diseases we used to only see in rural areas. Or when we build massive dams, well, we accidentally create the perfect five-star resort for disease-carrying mosquitoes and snails. Our actions have very real, very direct consequences.
And the threats are coming from all sides. You've got old diseases like dengue making a comeback. You've got animal diseases jumping over to humans. You have these massive, devastating industrial disasters like Bhopal and Chernobyl. And, of course, the spread of illnesses through water. It's this incredibly complex web of risk, and it all traces back to how we're changing our environment.
There's this quote from the biologist René Dubos that really hits home here. He basically warns us that this belief that we can just conquer every disease is a dangerous illusion. We can't just invent a solution for every problem we cause. Why? Because our bodies have limits. Our genetics can only adapt so fast, and our environment is changing way faster than we can keep up.
Okay, so with all these challenges piling up, it became pretty clear that the world needed a new game plan. And that led to a massive global response, all built around one simple, powerful idea. Health is a fundamental human right.
Now, this didn't just happen overnight. You can see how this idea grew over time. It started way back in 1946 with the World Health Organization's constitution, and it's been building ever since, right up to the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. For decades, the global community has been doubling down on this commitment to health as a right.
And this isn't just a nice sentiment. It comes with an actual to-do list. These are the concrete steps that nations agreed to take to make this right to health real for people. And what I find so interesting is that improving environmental and industrial hygiene is right up there with things like preventing epidemics and getting people to a doctor when they're sick. It's all part of the same package.
This was a huge turning point. The UN made it super clear that the right to health means so much more than just not being sick or having access to a hospital. It's about the basic building blocks of a healthy life. Things like safe drinking water, good sanitation, healthy food, a safe place to live. See how that connects everything right back to our environment, our house? And the whole thing is built on these 5 core principles. It's got to be universal, for everyone, everywhere. It's got to be equitable, meaning resources go where they're needed most. Governments have to be held accountable. Decisions have to be transparent, and maybe most importantly, people have to have a seat at the table when decisions about their own health are being made.
And again, this isn't just talk. It's not some pie-in-the-sky idea stuck in a UN document. Over 115 countries have actually written the right to health into their own national constitutions. Think about that. That is a massive global consensus written into law.
So, what does all this commitment actually mean? Well, it's led to a revolutionary shift in how we even think about what progress is. We're essentially rebuilding our global house with a brand new blueprint.
For the longest time, the old way of thinking was, let's focus on economic growth. Get rich first, and then we'll worry about health. But we've learned that's completely backwards. The modern view is that health is the engine that drives development. A healthy population isn't just a nice thing to have at the end, it's the foundation for everything else. A strong economy, a stable society, all of it.
So when you put it all together, you see that health isn't just one slice of the pie anymore. It's a driver of development, it's an outcome of development, heck, it's the ultimate goal of all of it. The point isn't just to have a bigger GDP, the point is to have a better, healthier life for everyone.
And you can see this change in where the money is going. Big players like the World Bank and the UN Development Program aren't just funding bridges and roads anymore. Now they're pouring huge investments into health because they recognize that it is the absolute bedrock of any kind of lasting progress.
Which leaves us with one last really important question to think about. We've seen just how deep the connection is between our planet's health and our own. We've seen what happens when we mess with that connection, and we've seen the global effort to rebuild it. So the question for all of us is this: if our planet truly is our house, how do we become better caretakers for the sake of our own health?